St. Petersburg Museum 2005. The famous Russian painter of Uyghur origin, Azat Mamedinov, with his brother from Kazakhstan, Vakas Mamedinov, is full of admiration for the collection of inestimable works held in this famous museum. The representative of the Petrovsk dynasty, present director of the State Museum, Mikhail Borisovich Petrovsky, who is an old friend of the Mamedinov brothers, greeted the guests warmly. Vakas, it is known that your brother Azat, in 1999, was awarded with a special medal from the Vatican for the promotion of Russian culture in Europe. At the same time, he is spreading knowledge of Uyghur culture here in Russia. We are eternally grateful for this. We are planning to organize an art exhibition at the museum with the participation of Azat, devoted to the history and culture of the Uyghur people. On hearing Mikhail Borisovich's words, Vakas was proud of his little brother. He recalled the words of his father, Imam Abbas, who told his sons, wherever they live, it is always necessary to remember their native land. Don't forget about your people. Opul village, southwest of Kashgar. An old tomb or mazar is situated on a hill 1,482 meters above sea level. There are 105 steps leading to the mazar. About 1 million people visited this complex over the past 10 years. The mausoleum was built 9 centuries ago. The body of the great scientist and ancestor of the Uyghur people, Mahmud Kashgari, whose 1000th anniversary was observed widely in 2008, lies in the mausoleum. The year 2008 was declared by UNESCO as the year of Mahmud Kashgari. For many years, the scientist traveled throughout territories inhabited by large Turkic tribes to investigate their languages, way of life and traditions, and after wrote his priceless work entitled Dictionary of Turkic Dialects, and by the tradition of that time presented it to the Caliph of Baghdad. He returned at the age of 75 to his native land. Mahmud Kashgari died in Opul village when he was 97. Approximately 3,500 kilometers from the mausoleum there is a mazar of another Kashgari. On the territory of southern Kazakhstan, not far from Susak village, there is a tomb known to native inhabitants as the Mazar of the Kazan, or Great Cauldron. At a distance of 4,000 kilometers from the sacred Muslim cities of Mecca and Medina, there is a great city of antiquity called Turkestan, known locally as Small Mecca. The ancient complex of Ahmed Yasavi, which contains 35 halls, is situated within the territory of this city. For centuries, neither the extreme climatic conditions nor even earthquakes could destroy it. The height of the construction is 37.5 meters. The walls are 2 to 3 meters thick. There is a huge kazan in the main hall, which can hold 60 pails of water. The diameters of the kazan are 2 meters and 45 centimeters. It weighs 2 tons. The kazan is made from 7 different metals. In particular, it contains cast iron, zinc, copper, gold and silver. The water in the kazan was mixed with sugar and distributed among pilgrims as a sacred drink. This Kazan hasn't been included in the Guinness Book of Records up to the present day, but it's relic of the material culture of this man, who is in some written sources called Abdulaziz Tabrizi. However, Suzak's historians and regional ethnographers assert that the sacred Khazanchi was Abdulaziz Kashgari, and he created this masterpiece. The history of Khazanchi Ata is very old and informative. Local inhabitants call this man Khazanchi Ata. According to the latest historical information, his real name is Abdulaziz Kashgari. Meanwhile, there are many historical stories and legends related to him. Let us refer to him as Khazanchi. It is known from history that the dynasty of Yasayev had a huge cauldron known as a Kazan. During Soviet authority, it was taken to Leningrad, contemporary St. Petersburg. In the following years, the Kazan was returned to the city of Turkestan. This Kazan was created in the city of Karnak by the craftsman named Khazanchi Ata. In accordance with historical information, Khazanchi Ata was from the city of Kashgar. This Kazan was created after Ahmed Yaseyev's death. Not far from Suzak village up to the present day, the mazars of 7 well-known saints have been preserved. Among their number are Karabula, Aji Ata, Ziltarak Ata, Kolak Ata, Muhammad Hadif, Shaihi Ahmad, and Abdulaziz Kashgari's mazars. In the 14th century, Amir Timur defeated the state of the Golden Horde. In order to cement his victory, he wanted to build a mausoleum to the popular figure of the 12th century, Hoja Ahmed Yasawi. The city of Yasi, later renamed Turkestan, in due course was exposed to multiple influences from the Khan of the Golden Horde. Toktam Ush, the best craftsmen from all the districts were brought in order to build the mausoleum. Abdulaziz Kashgari was among them. There is a legend that in addition to Ahmad Yasawi's Kazan, craftsman Abdulaziz Kashgari founded another one. According to local inhabitants, there is a legend about Amir Timur, who during his next campaign pondered over the problem that fire and smoke from the great number of kazans in which food was cooked for his army could be seen by the enemy, and therefore he ordered for a way to be found to avoid this. Skillfully, Master Abdulaziz Kashgari constructed one big kazan. Food cooked in it could feed 4,000 men simultaneously. At the same time, this kazan was only heated by 4 bonfires. Having seen this great work, Amir Timur rewarded the maker generously. It is said that from this time forth, Abdulaziz Kashgari was named as Master Khazanchi, and for the Kazan founded for Ahmed Ashawi's mausoleum, people began to refer to it as Abdulaziz Kashgari's sacred Khazanchi. This Kazan was kept for 54 years at a museum in Leningrad, present-day St. Petersburg. It has since been returned, and nowadays it's in the city of Turkestan, which is in the south of Kazakhstan. Despite the huge and boundless Kazakh steppe, this Kazan didn't fit through the doors of the museum, and in order for it to return to Kazakhstan, it was taken out through the window. All this wonderful history about the famous Kazan, told by the director of the State Museum, Mikhail Borisovich Pietrovsky, aroused Vakas Abbasovich's sincere interest in the Kazan master's fate. In 2007, in connection with the restoration of St. Karapula's mausoleum, where Kural Yuzhanov rendered financial support to the project, a group of scientists from an Uyghur research center attached to the East Research Institute after R. Suleymanov made a journey to southern Kazakhstan. The delegation was headed by Vakas Mamedinov and consisted of Rakhmetjan Yusupov, Dilshat Reyhanov, Kasim Masimi and painter Kurash Zulfikar. The Karabula Mausoleum is located not far from the complex of Hoja Ahmed Yassawi. The mausoleum is 17 meters high. Its overall size is 240 meters square. Not far from that, there is a burial grounds of Islamic religious figures, whom in due course played an important role in spreading this religion. Modern marble slabs have been placed in many of these ancient tombs. This noble action was fulfilled on the initiative of Kural Yuzhanov. Many hopes of our ancestors have been accomplished here in Kazakh soil, in the atmosphere of unity and friendship. In the first instance, the matter in question is about developing unity and not dividing into nationalities. Graves of many of our people were restored and memorial stones appeared on them. It seems that our ancestors wished to be remembered. It's one of the most important facts that the Kazakh land is more important than ever, and the Kazakh people are united. The establishment of our social fund is evidence of this. Our fund has organized an annual commemorative feast to our ancestor Karabula, which his grateful ancestors attend. Based upon facts from Suzak's historical figure Suleiman Travizi, Karabula was a contemporary and fellow student of Hoja Ahmed Yassawi. He was a ruler of the famous country of Karahanid, which existed in the 12th century. According to some historical facts, the ruler of Karahanid state existed in Central Asia from the 9th to the 13th century, with its capital at Balasagun and Kashgar, which was about 3 million kilometers square and had a title with the word Kara, which means the Great. This has known to history such rulers as Kara Bugra and Karahan. One of the early Karahanid rulers, Sultan Satuk Bugrahan, was famous for accepting Islam as an official religion in the 10th century, was buried not far from the city of Kashgar in the village of Artush. The burial grounds around this mazar form the first Muslim graveyard in these parts. Over a period of 11 years, this graveyard became considered a memorial, and no other branches of the Bugrahan family were allowed burial there. As regards the mausoleum located near Suzak, then Karabura also played an important role in spreading Islam throughout the territory of Central Asia, and because of this people considered him sacred. As a result of a trip to the mausoleum at Karabura, Vakas Mamedinov made an important discovery for himself. On hearing the legend of the museum about the famous Kazan, the master who made it, he was deeply interested in his fate. He found out that Abdulaziz Kashgari was buried in the same graveyard in Karabura near the village of Suzak. When a group of people participating in the opening of the complex of Karabura approached the remote mazar, a man saying a prayer from the Holy Quran met them. "It's now clear for me why yesterday I had a sacred dream," he said. "Maybe this dream warned me that I would see my countrymen." With these words, the stranger warmly greeted Mamedinov and his companions. He turned out to be a representative of the dynasty of Kashgarian Pakchi Bakhtur, who was widely known in Suzak and praised in a folk parable that this man's name is Tashpolat Akibayev. After that first visit to the mazar, rumors were circulating throughout Suzak that guests from Almaty had met with a sacred man from their country. Unfortunately, it should be said that Uyghurs in Susak don't know their native language, but they remember the land of their ancestors, which is Kashgar. One of their burning desires is to visit the land of their ancestors, the motherland of the great scientist Mahmud Kashgari. Forced during Stalin's dictatorship to change their nationality, nevertheless, they are known to all the neighbourhood as Kashgarian Uyghurs, and although several generations have already passed, they always remember that they came from Kashgar, and that important role this was played in the name of the sacred Khazanchi. Their countryman, whose real name was Abdelaziz Kashgari, known far away from the surroundings of Susak. It has already become a tradition that people from the older generation take their children and grandchildren to the mazar of this man. They explain to the young people that there lies the body of our countryman, who was a Kashgarian by birth. The old and the young together bow their heads at the tomb of the sacred. We should always remember that powers tried to divide our people. Because of it, we were tied to regional names, Kashgarian or Taranchi, in order to wipe away the real name of our people, Uyghurs. It's interesting to note that the Uyghurs of Susak lived in the south region of Kazakhstan, belonged to the descendants of Kashgar Haji. Susak is on the Great Silk Road, and in old times it was considered to be a great trading city. It is quite possible that our grandfathers and great-grandfathers came here on trading business. At the same time they spread religious theory, as many of them were Sufis, suggest Uyghurs of Susak. It is known, for example, that the forefathers of the local Uyghurs, Aslan Bab, were from the Miorid clan, or followers of Apak Haji. Many of them were Sufis too. They went on a pilgrimage by foot from